be okay. So thank you all for complying and doing that. I appreciate it. Also note that the messages are recorded too. So, you know, if you do have a question, say me in the chat, and then I can go and answer it. So we're going to start off by the military expansion by Justinian. Justinian had a dream, and his dream wasn't like an awesome one like Martin Luther King, where everyone would live in peace and harmony and equality, but that he would rule more land. He dreamed of being just like Constantine, ruling a united Rome. Because remember, we called them Byzantines, but they called themselves Roman because they were Romans. We just confuse things by calling them the Byzantines now. So he gets his main man, Belisarius, to reconquer most of the former Roman Empire. In 536, he goes and conquers Rome, the city that was the capital of Rome, because it's crazy because you think of how, you know, we have the Roman Empire without Rome, and for most of history for the Byzantines, that was the case. Rome without Rome. He gets Rome. Unfortunately, Rome is like a smoldering pile of rubble. The farms that had been so productive, that had given so much food, they had been trampled. I mean, war is destructive. Like the land was ruined. So Justinian has this land conquered, but because of all the wars, it really isn't worth anything. So Justinian's dream is met by Belisarius by reconquering most of the former Roman Empire. However, it doesn't gain him much. They also managed to defeat the Sassanid Persians in the east, securing lands in Mesopotamia near the Tigris-Euphrates rivers, making sure that Egypt is safe. The Sassanids, if you remember, are the same empire that went and actually killed and stuffed Emperor Valerian when we talked about them with Western Roman Empire last year. So the Sassanids are age-old enemies of the Eastern Romans. And the Sassanids, though, they'll be back. They are a strong, awesome empire. And one of the things, like I said, Justinian had this dream of ruling a united Rome. But the emperors after him, they saw, you know, a lot of people died to conquer this land. So sometimes they didn't want to lose it. But the fact of the matter is the land was costing money, not giving money or wealth, because you had to pay those soldiers to go guard it. You had to equip them. You had to feed them. And so they're doing it as all this expense for the military defense. However, they weren't getting any benefit. So eventually they just left. We're recording, Jude. So if you could actually turn your camera off, that would be appreciated. Or just walk away. Fine. Here. Now, we can see right here, we have the purple represents the land that Justinian ruled when he became emperor. So we see he's got the Eastern Roman Empire. We see they've got part of Mesopotamia, they've got Egypt, they've got parts of North Africa, they've got what is present-day Greece. It's a great empire, super duper rich, lots of cities, lots of wealth. However, we're going to see by the time he dies, he's going to add all of this orange to the mix. So Belisarius is going to conquer a ton of land. It's actually kind of a crazy story. Belisarius is about to conquer the city of Rome, you know, one of the most sought after prizes. But Theodore is like, if he goes and conquers Rome, he's going to declare himself emperor. So they actually like, he goes and listens to Theodora and locks Belisarius up in jail for being a traitor. Which of course he wasn't, and he eventually gets forgiven. But it's this crazy thing. Belisarius, Justinian's most loyal person, winds up going and being called a traitor. But it gets all worked out. So we see he almost reconquers all of Rome and the Roman Empire. You know, could have gone north to the Rhine River here. He didn't get any of Gaul, which is present-day France and Belgium. But, you know, that was pretty far away. He didn't get all of Hispania, present-day Spain, Portugal. Didn't have Britannia either, present-day Great Britain. Last slide. I know your fingers are probably working so hard. Their hands are about to fall off because you've just been writing for mere seconds. So, Justinian's Code. This is going to be the law code that is going to wind up being the Byzantine law code, aka the Roman law code, for the rest of Rome's existence. Justinian's Code is going to wind up being the foundation for almost all Western laws. That's right. The laws of Great Britain, yeah, some of those are based off of Justinian's Code, which you're like, well, why do I care about Britain? Well, guess what? The laws of the United States, once a British colony, based off of the laws of Great Britain, which are based off the laws of Justinian's Code. Therefore, United States law, partially based off Justinian's Code. Cray, right? Now, we call this Justinian's Code. He isn't the guy who actually wrote this. He's the guy who said, hey, write this. But we always give the emperor the credit instead of the people who actually did the work. Now, the Roman law code was a problem. You see, the Roman law code was big because this Roman law code had essentially been going on since 509 BC with the founding of the Roman Republic, and consuls are making their laws. They write them down, they put it in a book. The next set of consuls, they write some laws down, put them in a book. They keep on writing, and we wind up having hundreds of books. Like, I'm serious, hundreds of law books containing thousands of laws each. How is anyone going to know all of them? And what would happen too is some of the laws directly conflicted with other laws. So lawyer Eli might be like, oh, I see, we can go and arrest Raja because he's eating tacos on a Tuesday. And this law book says Taco Tuesday is illegal. Someone was obviously a monster, should have vetoed that. But then Nora, who's going to be Rajveer's lawyer, goes and says, oh, but you see in this law book over here, it says you must eat tacos on a Tuesday. And so that's the problem. We have conflicting laws, and it's crazy. And how are you going to know all those laws with thousands of books? So he gets rid of them and puts it all in one book. And in order to do that, Justinian's Code has to simplify the law, makes it easier. He has to get rid of the bad laws. Now, it's true, there are laws even in our country today that are in the law books, but no one follows. There are things called blue laws where it used to be illegal for for stores to be open on a Sunday. Now we know many people, go shopping and do things on Sundays. So some states still have those laws on the book, but police officers don't enforce them because it's silly. People, businesses need to do business and all of that. Laws are simplified. Laws were sometimes written very complicated. Thou shalt not deprive one of their life, when it's easier to say don't kill. Whoa, easier. And finally, the most important significant thing for us, it's going to give rights to women. Now, we're not going to see women receiving equality with this, unfortunately, but this is going to be better than many societies are going to have with women's rights. And it's an important precedent that we need to be looking out for those who are not being treated fairly, to go give them as many rights as possible. And this is going to be pretty unique for Western civilization to go and flat out say. Because one of the things, like, for example, like, let's pretend that Nalea's family is super rich and Nalea doesn't have any brothers, even though we know Nalea does have brothers. And if something happens to Nalea's father, that money under the old laws wouldn't go to Nalea. It would go to like the nearest male relative, which could be like her third cousin twice removed, which is just craziness. Justinian's Code makes it so that money can then go to Nalea. She can receive the inheritance from her family. So that is our notes for the day. So I'm going to stop recording. So if you all